Oh, ready? Okay, we're ready. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is the Committee on Housing, 10 a.m. agenda, Wednesday, April 10th. We're in conference room 312. We're hearing a few resolutions this morning. Should be pretty quick given the testimony, so we'll just get started. First one up is SCR 43, urging HHFDC to amend priority for which low-income housing tax credits are allocated and monies in the rental housing revolving fund. Rep. Pila for the testimony.
Thank you. SCR 43 SD1, Dean Minikami, Executive Director, Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, providing comments.
Good afternoon, chairs, members. We stand on our testimony providing comments. I would like to note that right now for LIHTC and RHRF, we prioritize awards based on readiness and efficiency criteria. Readiness being how soon can a project break ground, efficiency, how many units per dollar can we get. This would change that prioritization. It probably will lead to fewer units being produced and more slowly. So we just wish to inform the members of that.
Thank you. Up next, Betty Lou Larson, the Legislative Liaison for Catholic Charities Hawaii, providing comments.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair. I'm Betty Lou Larson. And we feel that this resolution is a little bit unclear. It doesn't say if the first four particularly are in priority order or if these are just priorities. Catholic Charities is very concerned about the long-term affordability of the LIHTC and Rental Housing Trust Fund projects. And we agree that there should be a priority, but it should be an equal priority. All of them should have equal weight. We feel whether the state produces, a nonprofit, or a for-profit, or a county produces it, the goal is keep it affordable on the long term. We also have a concern that not everyone lives in an area where there is state land or county land, or that's ready to be developed, that they want to develop. And so it reduces the choices of local neighborhoods and on the neighbor islands also. Where are they going to have it? But the developers are out there looking for land all over the place. I mean, HHFDC has about 4 times as many applications as they can award. So there are a lot of possibilities for localities to have affordable housing reach them. The other concern we have, which I didn't put in my testimony though, is at 30 or 40 years, if it's all state projects, they're going to need renovation. Is the state going to be bearing the whole burden for all the affordable rental housing that's produced and everything in the future that would have to be renovated? We know that HPHA is doing a good job, but they're struggling to renovate. This UH is struggling to renovate their dorms. It's a big problem for the state. So I think spreading the load, having more participants, more partners is really the way to go. But keep the first 4 priorities, that's fine, but make them equal weight, not in a priority order, which is not clear in this resolution, what it really means. Since it's 1, 2, 3, 4, it sounds like it might still be in priority order. Number 5, we have a real concern about. And that's the one that would encourage like refinancing at 15 years. These projects were set up because they do have rent restrictions to be financially feasible. They're also set up to give people some relief from rising rents. I mean, there are rent controls, but they do rise. So after 15 years, some of the seniors are struggling because they have legitimately had rent increases. But if they have to add a loan on top of that, it may be double the interest rate that they're paying through the Rental Housing Revolving Fund. That's putting additional burden on the tenants. And that's our concern, that will the tenants be able to pay that? Because the only income these projects have is from the rents. And so we really are concerned about number 5, and we ask you to delete that one because they feel that it really would put a burden and a kind of an unknown quantity at the year 15 or after that for these projects. So thank you very much. This is a very important topic. I'm so glad you're addressing it, but we hope it's done right so that it won't have the unintended consequences that will impact us for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have Department of Hawaiian Homelands and Support and ARP providing comments. Anybody online or in person wishing to testify on this measure? Seeing none, Chair.
Hey, members, any questions? Okay, I'm going to move on. SCR 45, urging the Director of Finance to adopt administrative rules to define beneficial effects of the state in Section 38-2 of HRS. Rep. Pila for the testimony.
Thank you. We only have Dean Minikami, Executive Director of the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, in support.
We stand on our testimony in support.
Thank you, Mr. Minikami. Is there anyone online or in person wishing to testify on SCR 45 SD1? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, any questions? Okay, moving on to the next one, SCR 55, urging HCDA to establish a multi-agency working group to update the maps, tier tables, and inventories of state land suitable and available for affordable housing development. Rep. Keeler.
Thank you. SCR 55 SD1, up first, Mary Alice Evans, the Director of Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, providing comments.
Thank you. HST stands on.
Thank you. Up next, Dean Minakami, Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, providing comments.
Stand in support and offering comments and referring to HCDA. You have the capacity for this.
Thank you. And lastly, Craig Nakamoto, Executive Director of Hawaii Community Development Authority.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. We stand on our written testimony providing comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Anybody else online or in person wishing to testify on SCR 55 SD1? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, any questions on this one? Okay, moving on to the next one, HCR 61, requesting HSFDC to adopt administrative rules to enable credit enhancement for construction loans under any funds administered by the corporation. Rep. Keeler.
SCR 61 SD1, D. Minakami, Executive Director, Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, providing comments.
Yes, Chair, Vice Chair members, we support the intent of this measure. However, after conferring with our Deputy Attorney General, we were advised that a change to the statute would be required for us to provide credit enhancement. So we'd be happy to work on a draft bill for next session.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify on SCR 61 SD1 online or in person? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, any questions on this one? Okay, moving on, SCR 103, requesting all high occupancy state and county buildings, the design of which commences on or after July 1st, 2025, to be designed and constructed to withstand Category 5 hurricanes and to serve as shelters in the event of emergency. Rep. Keeler.
Chair, there is no one registered to testify on this measure. Is there anyone online or in person wishing to testify on SCR 103? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, any questions on this one? Okay, we're going to move on. SCR 115, encouraging developers to incorporate net zero water building strategies when constructing and renovating housing projects in the state. Rep. Keeler.
Thank you, Chair. SCR 115, Dean Minakami, Executive Director, Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation, providing comments. Thank you. And then we have Mariah Yoshizu from Ulupono Initiative providing support. Is there anyone online or in person that would like to testify on SCR 115? Seeing none, Chair.
Any members, any comments or questions? Okay, moving on. SCR 183, urging the Department of the Attorney General to investigate and enforce applicable laws against landlords who are ending rental agreements to house FEMA-eligible households through the Direct Lease Program or Department of Human Services rental assistance programs. Representative Keeler.
Thank you, Chair. SCR 183 SD1, we have Aloha United Way in support, and then an individual, John Fink, in support. There are no registered testifiers for SCR 183 SD1. Anyone online or in person wishing to testify? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, any questions? Okay, moving on. SCR 217, urging Federal Emergency Management Agency to utilize funds for non-congregate housing for infrastructure and development needs for affordable housing. Rep. Keeler.
Thank you. SCR 217, one testimony and support provided by Maui Council Chair Alice Lee. Is there anyone online or in person wishing to testify on SCR 217? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, since there's no one, we're just going to move on to the last one on the agenda, SCR 226, requesting the governor in collaboration with the County of Maui to provide a clear strategy for addressing the short and long-term housing needs for residents displaced by the August 2023 Maui wildfires. Rep. Keeler.
Thank you, Chair. SCR 226. Up first, we have Dean Minakami, Executive Director, Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. Support. Thank you, Mr. Minakami. And then lastly, you have Lois Crozer, an individual in support. Is there anyone online or in person wishing to testify on SCR 226? Seeing none, Chair.
Members, anyone questions? Okay, we're going to recess for decision-making for a few minutes. Recess. Everyone, we're gonna do decision-making on these measures. The first one up is SCR 43. We're gonna move this one out as is, but we're gonna make technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style. And in the committee report, we'll make the notes that were raised by Catholic Charities and HHFDC that these are just items to give priority to, but they're not in a particular order. We'll make that note in the committee report. Members, any comments or questions? Yeah, with amendments, sorry. Okay, Rep. Keeler for the vote.
Thank you. Voting on SCR 43, SD1, passing with amendments. Rep. Evslin?
Aye.
Rep. Ayu?
Aye.
Rep. Keela is aye. Rep. Kitagawa excused. Rep. Miyake?
Aye.
Representative Onishi?
Aye.
Representative Todd?
Aye.
Representative Matsumoto?
Aye.
Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to SCR 45. We're going to make amendments, technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style. I'd just like to note we have a similar measure resolution moving through. That's HCR 89. So we're just going to keep this one moving as well. Anyone? Comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, Rep. Keeler for the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Voting on SCR 45 SD1, noting the presence of all members and the excused absence of Representative Kitagawa will be noted excused for the remainder of the hearing. Is there any members wishing to vote reservations or no? Seeing none, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Okay, members, moving on to SCR 55. We're going to defer this measure. We also deferred the similar HCR 159 just for some technical issues. And noting that we have a bunch of TOD, noting OPSD's testimony about the TOD areas and the housing units that are planned around TOD zones. So we're going to defer this measure. Moving to the next one, SCR 61. We are also going to defer this measure based on the comments by HHFDC on the legality of whether we can do this, but I would commit to working with HHFDC during the interim to draft a bill for this measure. So moving on to SCR 103. We're going to make amendments, technical amendments for clarity, consistency, and style. And just keep this one moving through. Members, any comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, Rep. Keeler for the
All right,
vote.
voting on SCR 103 SD1, noting the presence of all members, excused absence of Representative Kitagawa. Any members wishing to vote aye or with reservations or no? Seeing none, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Moving on to SCR 115. We are also going to keep this measure moving as is. I would like to note that CPC did defer this measure in their committee for the House bill, so we'll see what CPC decides that they want to do when we pass it back to them. So, members, comments, questions, or concerns? Rep. Keeler, seeing none.
SCR 115, members voting, is there anyone wishing to vote reservations or no? Seeing none, Chair, your measure is adopted.
Thank you very much. Moving on to SCR 183, we're just going to move this one out as is. Members, comments, questions? Seeing none, Rep. Keeler.
Thank you. Voting on SCR 183 SD1, is there any members wishing to vote reservations or no? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much. Moving on to SCR 217, moving this one out as is. Members, comments or questions? Rep. Keeler.
Thank you. Voting on SCR 217, members, is there anyone wishing to vote reservations or no? Seeing none, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. Members, last one, SCR 226, going to also keep this one moving as is. Questions or concerns? Rep. Keeler.
All right, final measure SCR 226, voting, is there any members wishing to vote reservations or no? Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you, members. We're adjourned.